This chapter describes the beginning of Alan and Ray's journey to the Arctic to film a documentary. They encountered initial challenges, including a delayed arrival at the port due to the unavailability of cabs at the airport. Despite this setback, they were fortunate that their ship was still waiting for them. However, they soon discovered that their luggage, containing essential equipment like cameras, had been lost at the airport. To solve this problem, they hired a local guide named Sean to assist with filming. Finally, they boarded the ship, and their journey began. The scene opens with Ray and Alan excited about starting their documentary. Sean's recording device, a box he always carried, is discovered and opened. Inside, they find a hat phone, but attempts to activate it yield no recordings. Alan tries to contact his family but finds there is no signal due to their remote ocean location. The transcript then cuts off mid-sentence. Ray spotted a bird in the distance with blood coming from its eye. He wanted to show Sean, but before he could, the bird flew away. Meanwhile, Alan was speaking with a scientist on the boat who was researching how sonic waves could affect the entire world. The captain mentioned that in all his years, he had never seen anything like this. The crew became frightened and moved inside the boat while Sean recorded the events. Alan and Ray, realizing the significance of the moment, briefly discussed including it in their documentary. Later, the group was eating as Captain Push prepared fish. Ray and Sean chose not to eat, but Alan did. Shortly after, Alan became sick, experiencing vomiting and general discomfort. Meanwhile, Sean and Jay continued working on the documentary. Sean noticed an unusual increase in the sound of birds flying. When he looked up, he saw that the birds were not flying in a recognizable pattern, and their flapping sounded unusually loud. Suddenly, the birds began to disappear. Before Sean could alert the others, he turned around and noticed something strange about the surroundings. The narrative begins with the unsettling discovery of missing people. An unidentified speaker notes the strange absence of people, expressing shock and confusion. References to Sean's recordings confirm the disappearances. The speaker recounts the initial disbelief and attempts to find an explanation, suspecting at first that it might be a prank. Ray informs Alan, and they conduct a thorough search of the ship, but they find no trace of the missing individuals. As the realization sets in that something is seriously wrong, they turn to Sean, who had been recording the events, hoping he might provide some insight. Sean, disoriented and struggling to grasp the situation, searches for his cell phone to call for help but finds that there is no signal. Meanwhile, Alan is injured and bleeding from a wound. Sean attempts to contact the ship's control center via radio to reach headquarters, but he receives no response. From his vantage point, he spots an island in the distance, which could offer a potential source of help. He rushes to inform the others about this discovery. Ray convinces Alan to go to a location Alan was initially reluctant to visit, believing it was their best chance at finding help. Upon arrival, Ray notices a bite mark on Alan's shirt. Alan has no memory of the incident, but the wound is deep and requires treatment. Before Ray arrived, Alan had found a DVR camera containing footage of a group of people wearing skirts mysteriously disappearing. This discovery unsettles both Alan and Ray even further. The audio cuts off mid-sentence. The group decides to explore the town. As they move through hotels, malls, and houses, they find every place eerily empty. The surroundings are unfamiliar, but written materials suggest they are in Russia. Shauna Midnon insists that the three of them stay together, as the situation is becoming increasingly dire. In an abandoned mall, they come across an indoor gaming center where they find a wounded deer, further suggesting that something unnatural has taken place. Ray and Sean noticed a light inside a building, but upon investigation, they found it empty. After searching in the darkness for a long time, Ray spotted another distant light, which reminded him of Alan. When he reached the source, he found Alan sitting on the ground, but the light did not belong to him. Suspicious, Ray sensed that Alan was hiding something and wanted to urgently confront him. However, Ray soon realized he was not alone at that moment. Sean, accompanied by an unnamed individual, decided to leave the area quickly. After suffering several attacks, Sean revealed the truth. A secret military experiment involving supersonic waves was taking place. These waves were extremely dangerous and powerful, capable of causing significant destruction. The speaker, along with Alan and another unnamed individual, survived because a scientist had exposed them to a protective sound wave, making them immune to the experiment's deadly effects. The speaker was certain the others had also heard the protective sound, which explained their survival. Sean recounted falling ill but not succumbing to the experiment's effects. He explained that the military had given him a satellite phone to maintain contact and ensure a rescue operation. However, he was now unable to reach them. The narrative follows Sean as he attempts to contact the military. Suddenly, a gunshot rings out and Sean is fatally shot. The identity and location of the shooter remain unknown. A hidden observer witnessing the event becomes alarmed. Moments later, a phone rings, an indication of military involvement. Given that all other phones had been previously inactive, he realizes that the military is watching him and that they will soon take action. Overcome with fear, the story ends with the protagonist's uncertain fate, leaving the audience wondering whether he will escape or be killed.